Albert region in 2012, following the farm down by Tullow Oil to Sinuk and Total Energies EP Uganda. In all its operations worldwide, Total Energies considers national content as a key component for the success of its operations, and Total Energies EP Uganda is no exception. Total Energies EP Uganda therefore developed a national content strategy aimed at maximizing the use of local manpower, goods and service providers, as well as developing local capabilities and capacities. This strategy was developed in line with the national content regulations of Uganda. Subsequently, the company has undertaken a number of initiatives aimed at ensuring that Ugandan companies, entities, and citizens are adequately equipped to participate in the oil and gas sector. Some of these initiatives include the organization of national supplier development workshops with the aim of providing suppliers with information regarding oil and gas in Uganda, as well as available opportunities to supply goods and services. Suppliers are also provided with information on the procurement and national content needs and processes to help them meet the anticipated demand of the project while ensuring adherence to the highest standards of quality, health, safety, and environment.
There's a lot of detail that's always missed when we're getting the answers to the pre-qualification questionnaires, for example. It's during such forums that we get to explain in order for them to go back and be able to participate competitively in our tendering processes.
In March 2018, the company launched the Welders Training and Certification Program aimed at improving the employability of Ugandans from the Albertine region and East African crude oil pipeline areas. The training will equip 350 youth from the Albertine and Pipeline Route districts in courses leading to international certification in 2G, 3G and 4G and 6G coded welding, hence developing a domestic pool of internationally certified welders. The first and second cohorts graduated in October 2019, following a training that was closely supervised by the GIZ E4D SOGA program. Other initiatives include training of heavy goods vehicle drivers, scaffolding training, health, safety, environment training, and the development of the Industry Enhancement Center. Total Energies EP Uganda is committed to the promotion of national content in the country and empowerment of Ugandans to take a...
Welcome back. You're watching our Tilenga National Supplier Development Workshop. We're coming to you live from the Nation Media Park project. And so we've listened in to the updates from our partners and, of course, the Total Energies project managers on the Tilenga project so far. And we are now joined by the EPSCC Contractor Consortium. And for those of you probably wondering what EPSCC is, Engineering, Procurement, Supply, Construction, and JMG joint venture. We'll come to that a little later. But allow me quickly introduce the speakers who are coming next. First will be Phil Lassen, and a lot of you had a reason to speak to Phil, and Phil is here in person. Phil is the Tilenga project site manager for McDermott International with over 35 years experience in the oil and gas industry. Phil is part of the project directorate and has responsibility with McDermott for management of the project site construction, technical services, quality supply chain and facilities. And Phil has extensive experience in both onshore and offshore projects up to $4 billion US. Wow. He has worked here in Africa, Asia, the Americas, and Europe on projects that employed multicultural workforces of up to 17,000 personnel. Phil, thank you for joining us. Phil is here with Barbara Karunji, and Barbara is the current Tilenga National Content and Social Responsibility Manager for McDermott International. She has approximately 10 years experience with practical working knowledge of leading national content and social responsibility initiatives, a change agent with a passion for creating positive change and social impact while delivering best-in-class sustainability standards and practices through continuous benchmarking against industry leaders and stakeholder requirements. I could go on and on because her profile is quite rich. So allow me stop there and allow for Phil to start our conversation on the updates as a contractor consortium.
Well, Maurice, thank you very much for the introduction, and it's an absolute pleasure to be here today along with Barbara.
And you have a great voice.
Oh, well,
for us in the broadcast industry, that's a rich voice.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Go ahead, Phil.
So, It's fantastic to be here today, and we're very excited. As you heard from everybody else here this morning, things are actually starting to happen on the project, and it's an exciting time, and we look forward to working with you. So, our presentation today is really a follow-on to the previous supplier workshops to let you know who we are, what our role on this project is, what we will strive to do to maximize to the absolute best of our ability the local content of Uganda, goods and services from Ugandan suppliers and companies, and to build the project together with you. So when we look at it, as had been mentioned earlier, there are several components to the project, including assurance of project execution. That's key, as Pierre and others had mentioned earlier here today, to a successful project here in the Pearl of Africa. It's going to be a great project, trust me. I've built these around the world, and I am truly excited to be here. It's going to be a fantastic job. So when we look at this, I listened to Pierre, I listened to Idrissa, James, Pamela, and everyone. It is truly, truly a joint effort. It requires a team. You've heard the terms used here today about connection, about coming together, about working together, about a joint effort. This is indeed the Tilenga project, and we need your help to be successful, and we will help you help us to be successful in this endeavor. So thank you very much for everyone and their participation today, and I'll give you a little bit of information in regards to McDermott and Sinopec. Next slide, please. So McDermott, I'm sure some of you are aware of who we are, but we're a fully integrated engineering, procurement, fabrication, construction contractor. We have a global footprint. We work all around the world. We are a technology-driven company that tries to design and build innovative, sustainable projects on a global footprint. As you've listened to folks today and in previous discussions, sustainability is a keynote of where we're at and where we're going forward in the world. We are involved in offshore wind. We're carbon capture, hydrogen, a number of different projects, an exciting time in the industry worldwide, and McDermott and Sinopec both are engaged in this process and are very excited to be involved in it. Next, please. So overall, we have a global footprint somewhere in about 54 countries. We do multiple engineering, procurement, and execution centers around the world. And much like on this project here in Tilenga, we're performing engineering out of London, and certainly with Sinopec out of China, in Beijing, in their areas, The Hague, and other what we call centers of excellence within McDermott and Sinopec. Next, please. So we always talk about safety, and John had mentioned earlier here how it's an absolute number one priority for all of us at McDermott, Sinopec, Total, and certainly with all the subcontractors and suppliers that will be a part of the project. Total has their 12 golden rules, very, very much aligned on an international basis with also McDermott and Sinopec's operational values. Now, McDermott has worldwide a great safety record, and we're very, very proud of it. We've executed to date about 54 million man-hours with no lost time incidents. We have a position in our company, and it's our culture, our DNA, where we take the lead. And taking the lead really means you set the example, and each and every one of our employees sets that example. And it also means that we help you to understand how we do this. So as suppliers and subcontractors on the project, there are a lot of requirements. There are a lot of procedures, policies, and requirements for the project that you'll have to meet. But please don't be concerned about this, because we'll also be there to help you. We do evaluate it. We have to. That's a part of the project. But we encourage you to join in and come together with us, and this will make things better for everyone, not only for this project, for the future of Uganda. So again, we appreciate that. It is a shared value that we all have, and we look forward to working with a great many of you. And I'll pass over to Barbara now to talk just a little bit on our social responsibility, missions and objectives, and some of our human rights. Barbara?
Good morning. Thank you to our viewers who have tuned in. In terms of social responsibility, it's one of our core values, and it's a commitment we take very seriously, and we extend this to all our subcontractors and suppliers. We aim at promoting socially responsible operations that will reduce our risk while maximizing our benefits, and the only way we can be able to do that is through collaborating with our subcontractors, our suppliers, as well as the community. Our social responsibility is also centered on the four objectives, as you'll see on the screen: economic, social, cultural, and environment. And if I speak specifically on the social, some of the initiatives will be coming up with, the legacy initiatives will be coming up with, will be relatively focused on not only the construction phase, but also the operation maintenance. As you're aware, the McDermott and Sinopec consortium will be in Uganda for a relatively short time, so 3 to 4 years. So we really want to engage with the community and contribute to projects that will continue going forward even after we are done with what we're supposed to be doing. I think that's it for the social responsibility. Lastly, one key proponent for McDermott in our social responsibility is human rights. It's a critical component because we believe all Ugandans are entitled to basic standards to maintain their dignity as well as equality. So this is something that we're going to be paying really close attention to. We'll be tracking our suppliers and subcontractors' participation in ensuring that their workers are protected. As you're aware, because of the type of industry, there'll probably be a huge influx of male workers, so there'll probably be an increase. We hope not, but there may be an increase in sexual exploitation. And then for workers in this industry, we need to put measures in place so that they are also protected in terms of providing basic PPE, as well as training them on handling the risks that are associated with this type of work. Back to Nigel.
No, back to me here.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Yes.
That's okay. Thank you very much, Barbara.
Yeah.
So, I want to talk a little bit about what McDermott Sinopec's role is on the project and give you a little insight into our overall scope of work. So, with the next slide, please.
It's all right. Just go on as they find the slide. Yeah.
Well, just in short here, McDermott and Sinopec have been engaged in the Tilenga project for quite some time. We did the feed on the project, and we offer full end-to-end solutions on our scope of work, meaning, as Maurice had mentioned, engineering, procurement, fabrication, construction, and commissioning of the whole project. So it's a large infrastructure piece too, as has been previously brought to everyone's attention. There's a large camp, 4,000 people. There's utilities, there's all of the support bases that require warehousing, lay-down yards, transport, batch plants, fuel supply, a great number of things that go into actually building the project and supporting the project. These are underway at this time, and we'll discuss a little bit more about those here momentarily. So at this point in time, McDermott and Sinopec are both mobilized into Uganda. We have offices here in Kampala, and at project site, we have mobilized onto the site, and Karmad Beta, who will give a presentation here shortly, is also at site and is setting up and will soon start the construction. They've actually got started on survey and layout in the initial stages of the construction of the camp, and that's really kind of where the main piece of it is. Our scope with McDermott is what they call Package 1. Package 1 is the CPF in the industrial area, and then there's Package 2 and Package 3. Our consortium partner, Sinopec, executes both Package 2 and Package 3. Package 2 being the pipeline network, as they had mentioned, all the numbers of wells and everything that we put in. So the pipelines and the lake water abstraction. The package 3 portion is the actual well pads, and that work, as had been mentioned here earlier, Mota Ingle will be starting that work here soon as far as preparing these well pads. And Sinopec is a little bit, they're starting some contractual and supplier activities now, but their work will come just a little bit later down in the program as the well pads are established and put in place by the enabling infrastructure contractor of Total. Next. Well, you can't see her here, but nonetheless. There you go. There you go. Okay. So this is the industrial area layout. Just to, it may be a bit hard for you to see some of this, but just to give you a flavor for it, you know, it's a couple of kilometers. Just the CPF is about 1 kilometer wide by 1 kilometer tall, so it's, you know, it's a little over 1.5 kilometers square. Huge facility. I've been up there, looked at it here this week, and Mota Ingle's done a fantastic job in coming right along with the work. They did hand over the CCA, which is where we build our construction camp, and all the support mechanisms that go with that. And then they'll be turning things over, as had been previously mentioned to us, including they're working right now on the driller support base, which is Total subcontractor, and then our support base areas, which will allow us then to contract and build all of our support facilities on the warehouses and all the batch plants and all the fuel stations and everything that we've mentioned there before. The CPF itself is a large scope of work. I mean, it involves everything from the civil work, structural steel, piping, mechanical, electrical, instrumentation. It's a tremendous amount of work and a tremendous opportunity for a great many of the local Ugandan companies. Inside of the facility itself, it's really kind of broken down into some different distinct areas: storage tanks and export, the flare area, water treatment, the separation trains, and then the power generation. So there are a lot of large components of equipment that get set in there. Some of it's very, very specialized and sophisticated equipment, which is, again, to the point that there are international, it is very much a joint effort, as had been mentioned here by Pierre and others, and Idris and the folks. It has to be a joint effort. There are certain skill sets that are required from the international contracting arena in regards to some of the specialized equipment, but very much so below that are opportunities for local Ugandan suppliers and contractors to support that group. As you heard earlier with Mota Ingle, there are 4 or 5 different lower tier subcontractors that are working in support of Mota Ingle's overall progress and project. Same will occur here with McDermott and Sinopec. You know, we let major contracts, but underneath that layer are a great many opportunities with those particular contractors for each of the suppliers and contracting groups that are out here in Uganda. Next. I'll jump right to that one. Okay. Oh, no, that's okay. We'll go right ahead onto the strategy and national content. I had just a couple of photographs of, these are actually model shots in our engineering center in London right now. They do all the modeling. We're modeling the entire CPF, so it's quite a tool, and it certainly gives you an absolute vision of the magnitude of the project, the size and dimensional view of how big a project this really is. Exciting thing, exciting time to see as it gets developed here. And then together with you, we'll be out in the field building this. And at the end of the day, and over the next 25 years, it should be a project and a facility that we're all very, very proud of. Now, in regards to our subcontracts, and I know in the previous workshop, you know, they've discussed how this works. So again, it's about execution assurance and making sure that these packages are put as best we can together so that it provides the greatest opportunity to the Ugandan companies and suppliers that want to participate in the project. But there are technical aspects that are required in regards to, you know, past experience, and I'll discuss a little bit here later on our website, how you enter into the website and the information that we're looking for from you. But there's technical as far as available resources, project schedule, your structure, how you're set up in the country, HSE and quality policies and procedures that you as a company have, and certainly the legal and regulatory requirements of the country. You need to be registered on the National Supplier Database. And then there's also always the price. You know, it is a cost thing. You have to be cost competitive, and that's just that's business. So you have to be competitive in what you're doing, but it's important as a supplier or subcontractor that you understand what your cost is. So, you know, and we can try to assist in those manners, and I know that certainly PAU and others, as well as Total, try to help everybody understand what the requirements are out here on this project, and really that's where we're at. It's really schedule, your technical capability, and price. Next. So, taking a quick look here in the next 6 months, you know, overall for our project, there are approximately 50 major contracts, you know, that will be awarded. Some of them are already awarded, as you know, with Carmat Beta, who will construct the camp. There are also new plan engineering, which is assisting us in permitting and engineering and other associated pieces of the work here. But there are many that are just now in the process, and a number of about 28 between now and over the next 6 months that will just go into the tendering phase. So there's still opportunity here, a great opportunity over the next 6 months for approximately half the contracts that we'll let on the project for your participation. If I look at some of them, you know, I mean, security services, so they're direct work, indirect work, support services that are required for the project. In regards to medical services, environmental monitoring, we have temporary communication systems. There's obviously the civil works, and then our main contracts like the SMP and other contracts for which are main mechanical contractors. These are all in process and will be coming out soon for tender. So we advertise these in the local paper, and certainly on our website with McDermott's supplier website that you all have access to, and again we'll give you that website here towards the end of the program. And I'd like to kind of pass that back then over to Barbara here to talk a little bit about where we're at to date, because the National Content Plan is something we're all committed to, Total and McDermott as well. And so, you know, I'm proud to announce that we are making progress already in that plan. We've made commitments as a company, and we're achieving and moving forward on that with a great assistance from PAU and from Total and all of the current contractors that are working for us. So with that, Barbara, if you'd like to walk them through a little bit.
Yes, so this spreadsheet, I think, could we move to that page? The next one? So yes, so that is a reflection of our numbers in terms of our staff. As you'll see, the total staff so far that we've got are 116. Out of those, 109 are Ugandans, and 19 of those are Ugandans that were picked from the local community. This, of course, is a requirement, but it's something that we're taking seriously. In terms of our management, 3,752 hours have been logged so far. In terms of the participation, these hours would go to training and also actively working on the project, as well as the technical staff, where 4,610 hours have so far been logged, and 1,400 for the other staff. Now, I have to add that these numbers are not a reflection of the activities moving forward. Like Idrissa said, we were more recently handed the site. I think we handed the site over 2 weeks ago. So now we're going to actively start mobilizing. And with that, more hours will be logged, more people will be brought on. So I think this is a huge opportunity for Ugandans to now take part in the construction. Like James said, I would encourage Ugandans who feel they may not qualify to also maybe take part into joint ventures. I think that's a great entry point for those that do not meet all the requirements. And I would also, just a minute. Yes, and I also want to add that measurement tools have also been applied to all the all our subcontractors as well as our suppliers to make sure on these contracts in their entirety that we'll be giving priority to JVs. Yes. And then lastly, we want to hand over to Nigel Hurst. He's a director with KBJV. KBJV is Common and Better. They are our first subcontractor, and they'll be responsible for constructing the 100-man camp, the entire 4,000-man camp, but that would be available to Ugandans.
Well, Phil, just before, because I know later we have Nelson, and as they line up Nigel, I think, over to you, Nigel. They've done the introduction, so over to you, sir. Now we can hear you.
Okay, great. Good morning, everybody. It's nice to join you. I'm currently not in country, although I will be about how we've approached this project. And don't know, can you see that? But okay, I will talk anyway. So a little bit about represented by Nelson and Mungeni. Unfortunately, Nelson is unable to be with us this morning, and they have been working as a joint venture with JMG in the Uganda area and also the East Africa region, Fisher Oil Company. So they're very much a local Ugandan-based entity. And then next slide is talk about Carmod Group. Carmod Group is based out of Turkey. Carmod Prefabricated Technologies is a manufacturer. We manufacture prefabricated buildings, a number of different types of prefabricated buildings, from the prefabricated houses, workshops, also perfect. The next slide, please. There we go. And Carmod themselves, so we manufacture prefabricated houses, we manufacture warehouses, offices, schools. We also manufacture the type of cabin, the type of container type accommodation which we're actually delivering for this project. And we also manufacture types of modular cabins and kiosks, which you often see as security. Now, for this project, we actually bid this project through our regional entity. I actually work for Carmod Kenya, which is a facility from Turkey. And Carmod Kenya is not only brings the buildings from Kenya, we also provide the services to build on site. So for the purposes of this project, and if we click on to the next slide, Carmod, through our Carmod Kenya entity and Beta projects, we formed a joint venture because for us, the national content things in Turkey and then all the fabrication. Kenya were registered with the NSD, Beta JMV were registered with the NSD, and then as part of the bidding vehicle, we actually formed a joint venture company, which is Carmod Beta, and that was also registered with the NSD to make sure that we're fully compliant with the local regulations. And here you can see is the formal signing ceremony taking place in the above picture between Jeremiah, our director from Carmod Kenya, and Nelson, the director of Beta. So this is the formal signing ceremony taking place on the 14th of September. Now, our scope of works, you've had a quick overview from Phil, is basically to develop the 3,910 camp, which is the first work package which has been delivered by so the first package, and we'll be delivering accommodation, we'll be delivering places of worship, we'll be delivering laundry facilities, convenience stores, we'll be providing offices, taverns, medical facilities, and we're also providing roads, and we'll also be providing the water treatment plant as well. So our scope of works is relatively straightforward, although there, of course, are huge requirements on health and safety and obviously delivery time frames as well. I don't know if people are having problems seeing the slides there. I can see a few comments popping up there. Okay, so if we go on to the next slide, please, local content. As mentioned previously, the factory in Turkey is the only part of the international supply chain effectively. They are supplying, they are fabricating the buildings, and they are shipping them down to site. And then for the assembly of the buildings, for constructing the roads, providing the infrastructure, the water, the electrical, the telecoms, all this is being undertaken by local teams within Uganda. So for us, national content is absolutely the cornerstone of our complete strategy. Everything in Uganda is being done locally, and we are providing some trainers from Carmod, Kenya. We're providing some trainers from Carmod, Nigeria, and a few trainers will be coming down from Carmod, Turkey. But effectively, the resources on our site will be from our teams within Uganda. And also, as you can see here, we've also been out and about recruiting. We did a big recruitment exercise recently where we were actually bringing staff from the local communities to work on the project. So we are providing jobs. We are trying to create as much local content within the region as well to make sure that we are bringing people on who can be upskilled and trained to actually build the buildings and provide other construction works. And next slide as well, please. Okay, and here again, you can see this is our recent recruitment exercise. This project is being undertaken very much as a joint venture with our local teams, and obviously we're working very much hand in hand with McDermott as well. I think Foot emphasised the message about partnering, about working together. We cannot do this in isolation. We need the support of the local communities. We need the support of our teams. We need the support of McDermott. We need the support of Total as well to make this project an absolute success. And the next slide. Part of our strategy also is that we are upskilling the workforce, and the slide you can see on the top right here was an example of a risk training session I undertook a few weeks ago with our team. We brought on board a very, very high quality Ugandan team to work on this project, but there's still some skill gaps between the international standards which McDermott and Total are requiring for this project, and obviously our high quality team which we're bringing to this project. So we are undertaking a lot of training to try and close that gap and effectively to upskill an already very, very good workforce to bring them up to the level of the international requirements which can be required for oil and gas projects. So effectively we are spending time training people, and the photograph on the bottom right you can see here, this was one of our recent training programs for this was working for heights. So we've done a lot of training in association with McDermott for working for heights, manual handling and other such key areas. And for us, training is an ongoing process throughout the life of the project. So this is very, very important. And then on the next slide as well, again, we talk about local content. As I said, we cannot provide everything from our teams in Kampala. So we're already establishing on site a supply base which we're using as sort of a springboard to the site, so we can bring materials here and store them for the camp and for other projects. And we've also been recruiting for local services, for example, security, catering, cleaning, labouring services. These basically, we need local support, so we are recruiting from Uganda to fill these gaps. And as we go along with the project, there will be further skills and further services required, and we will be using local resources to do this. We wouldn't bring anybody international to do this because it's very important that we fulfill the national important content. And for us, it's about creating jobs within Uganda. And then the final slide for me here is experience with the procurement. For us, it's been a very, very long procurement. We've been following this project for a number of years now. And from our perspective, the bidding process was very, very involved. But certainly with the power of technology, we've been working remotely in different countries. We've been working locked down, but we've still managed to put together a very, very strong team. So certainly we can take advantage of technology. I think it's also important to emphasize from a bidding perspective that it's important to, when people are actually bidding for these projects, is to really understand what it is you're bidding for. We spent a great deal of time really drilling down on the requirements to really understand what is required and how we can fulfill that. And it's also very, very important to make sure that what the prices we gave are fixed prices. So there's absolutely no leeway to adjust prices later on. And this is something we've actually experienced already, where one team member needs to look at readjusting some prices, and that of course causes some problems. So it's important to really understand what the scope of works is before bidding it, to make sure that you really are complying it, and to make sure that the team that you're putting together for this project is using the very high quality staff that have the experience. And of course, there's very strong emphasis on health and safety, very strong emphasis on local compliance. And so yeah, it's been a very busy process. This project is absolutely no pushover whatsoever. This is a huge amount of work here, a huge amount of requirements on us. We are we've got some quite big demands on us to actually meet the project deadlines, but we're up for the challenge. We're here, and we're now mobilized onto site, and we're looking forward to working closely with McDermott and Total to get this project delivered now. Back to you, Phil.
Thank you, Nigel. Phil, any quick?
Yes, just real quick. I think a couple more slides here.
Yes.
I'll take you through them real quick. It's
Yes.
about our website for our suppliers. I'd like to visit with that just for a second here.
If we could go back to Phil's presentation. Yes, there you go.
So some of you may be familiar with this. Those that aren't, this is our supplier website. We encourage you. A number of people have already registered for different aspects of the project. If you go into this website, it will lead you to some forms that you need to fill out. And basically, it's looking for the same information that you would expect. We're looking for contact information about your company, website, previous experience, some proof of Ugandan company registration on the National Supplier Database. Take the time in here. There's a comments section in this that will allow you to tell us a little bit about what differentiates you from your competitor. What sets you apart? Again, is a big focus. If you have certifications and other things in regards to quality, health, environmental, safety, security, please note those. They're obviously priorities for us on the project, and this will help you as we read through, screen, and look at the capacity and capability of the different companies that are interested and are going to demonstrate an interest in participating with us, McDermott and Sinopec, here on the project. So again, there's a lot of contracts, as I mentioned, about 28 of them that are coming out here in the next 6 months. Those will be advertised, a number of them, as well as get into the supplier website, register your information with us, look for these opportunities. A great number of them are ring-fenced contracts, meaning they are intended and will go to Ugandan companies. So a lot of that support services, civil contracts, that type of work. And we'll have our building contract coming out, major contract, civils work contract coming out, major contract, and lots of opportunity for local Ugandan companies and suppliers to participate in this project. And we encourage you, please register and help us build this project. And again, it takes a team. The team is all of us together, as Idrissa, Pierre, and everybody's mentioned. Thank you again on behalf of Barbara and myself, of McDermott Sinopec, for having us here today. And we look forward to hopefully seeing you in the future. So, Maurice, thank you very much, sir.
Thanks, Phil. Thanks, Barbara. Please stay with us. We may have some questions for you, if time allows. But allow me to invite Ilwan to come. Do come and take your seat. You have 2 seats of choice, so feel free to pick a seat of choice. Erwan Leguardec is the East Africa Area Manager for Valorec, and he'll be taking us through the introduction on the Oil Country Tubular Goods, or CTG, contractor, which speaks to drilling and wells. Ilwan, over to you.
Thank you, Maurice. Good morning, everyone. And as everyone was saying also, it's a great pleasure for me to participate today to this conference. It's something we have been looking for, all of us, for many years, and now finally it is starting. So I have to say to give all my appreciation to the PAU, which has done a great work. Of course, the government of Uganda, and Total. We have been working with Total, of course, as all these tier 1 contractors for many years now. To give a quick snapshot of If I just want to summarize very quickly what my contract is today, we as Vallourec, we are manufacturers of casings and tubings. So what we do is that we manufacture and we supply the oil and gas wells, which are then going to be put in the ground. So, for us, this project is over 420 wells to be drilled and supplied. That means that we, as manufacturers of steel, of seamless steel pipes, we're going to be bringing in the country over 30,000 tons of pipes. 30,000 tons of pipes, you can imagine that's a whole lot of trucks on the road coming from Mombasa all the way to Tilenga. That is something that we have to highlight also. Our scope in the project is to, with Vallourec France, to deliver the pipes, have those pipes delivered all the way to the drilling site, so on the yard. Another part also of our contract is the preparation works. Part of this in the preparation works is building the site where all our goods are going to be stored. Phil was mentioning also the works done over there by Motengil. We are going to be having a slice of the drilling support base. And on that drilling support base, we need to build all the necessary infrastructure that we need to receive, store the goods, and then do all the service which is needed for our pipes. I'll get into that a bit later on. Maybe to, I would say, get back on, that's always interesting also on the history of this tender, of this project for us on our scope. This tender started for us in 2017. And I've personally been involved on that project from day one. And as a team, as Vallourec, as a team, we've worked with all the different kind of sections of our companies: admin, legal, QHSE, technical, commercial, services, addressing all the different kinds of questions which were coming up as this tender was unfolding ahead of us. We've worked with the Total management in Paris, the technical centers of Total in Pau, and of course here locally the local teams of Total Energy. Phil was mentioning this a bit before. It's all about business. Of course, we were awarded not only because of our capabilities, prices, with Total to make this project, I would say, oil and gas turmoil prices that we've known over the past years. This conference is about local content, and the PAU was emphasizing the fact that local content needs to be pushed. We need to show how we are going to demonstrate local content in the country today. Yes, this is a given. All the contractors are today abiding by this. But I just want to give a quick highlight the fact that to us, to Vallourec, local content is a given. It is something that we have done everywhere. And just as Africa, we're based in Angola, we're based also in Nigeria. We have offices in Cairo, Algeria. And in all these places where we get contracts, when we start works, the point is always to involve locally the communities to support us to get the project delivered appropriately. And here in Uganda, it will be no exception. And this is what we have done also throughout the tendering process, coming here very regularly, understanding which companies we would be able to work with from, I would say, ahead of being awarded the contracts. So this is something really important that we have been doing for many years now. So just to give a bit of the explanation about this contract and how it is going to be done. As I said, Vallourec Oil and Gas France, being the headquarter, the mother company, is going to be providing the contract for the goods. So the contract of the goods, this was public information announced in the press, is a bit over, slightly under $100 million. So this is all the goods package which is going to be performed as a contract by Vallourec France. And this, as I said, DAP delivered onto site. And this is where afterwards our local company here, Vallourec Oil and Gas Uganda, Vogu, will be taking on, as soon as the pipes arrive on the yard, to do all the local services. And the local services, as I said, start with the development of our own yard on site, and afterwards to do all the services for Total for about 4 to 5 years. And this is where we are afterwards going to be implementing properly all the local content, and that starts with, of course, hiring people and training people. So this is definitely one of the highlights for us, is the training aspects. One thing to keep in mind is that today the oil and gas industry in Uganda is starting. And for instance, as Valurec, we have a brand and a technology which is called VAM. VAM connections, VAM premium connections. These are the connections, the threads which are on our pipes, on the casings and the tubings. These have never been used in Uganda in the past. So the idea today is really to find people who have a good understanding of the oil and gas business and industry, and to get as close as possible to our technology, because afterwards we are going to be training these people that we're going to be hiring on our own technology, and these trainings are going to be able to train the people to our standards. And so this is definitely one of the very big and key topics for us, is the transfer of know-how here to Ugandans. Another part also, as I said, is setting up the whole yard. This is where also one of our first contracts is going to be given out. We have published recently also in the press some expressions of interest to start this. Next slide, please. Just on the people, on the HR aspect, Valurec Uganda, we're going to be a team of approximately 60 people to do all the services on the site. And we have to know that from day one we will already be over 80% of Ugandans on our company. So that's already, I would say, something to note, is that we're not today trying to bring a lot of expats from day one and afterwards scale them down. The idea is, in fact, to put as many Ugandans as possible directly into the company and have our expats here training them on the job as they pick up knowledge and experience. The expats will then be phased out. So really, that's something I think that we should highlight, is that that's the strategy that we're going to be putting up for the human resource in the company. Just to give a quick snapshot, next slide please, a quick snapshot of the works and what are we going to be doing on the yard. So here on the left you have the mills, the Valurec mills. We're going to be sourcing our goods from different routes, an Asian route and a European route mostly. And afterwards, all the works of Valurec Uganda are going to be concentrated on the Tilenga yard. This is where we are building infrastructure. So this is, I would say, inspection areas, very large inspection areas, warehouses also, very large warehouses, and where we do all the services, and that's offloading of all the trucks coming from Mombasa, storing the goods, maintaining a proper inventory of the pipes, because of course 30,000 tons of pipes, you can imagine that's a lot of pipes, and the yard is going to be pretty big. It's almost a 50,000 square meter yard. So there's a lot of works which is going to be required on the site to enable Total afterwards to conduct the drilling, because our scope is then to deliver pipes to Total in a very swift, efficient way, so they can carry on with their drilling as efficiently also. It is factory drilling, which is going to be implemented here in Uganda, so it means that the drilling has to be extremely fast, and we need to be supportive of that strategy. Moving on, here I would say in terms of our strategy also to involve companies. As I said, first of all, it's the HR aspect, and where training is for us paramount. We've published in the papers a couple of weeks back some opportunities. So we partnered with a Q-sourcing company to help us to find the good talents. So here is a little snapshot of some of the jobs that we're looking for. Petroleum engineers, desk engineers, plenty of inspection people, yard managers also. And right now the interviews are started, ongoing, and we are in the selection process of people. And as I said, one of the key points also is to be able then to transfer to our team our know-how, our technology. And here I'd just like to point out something also which is quite notable, and I think that which Uganda has to take a lot of pride in. As I said, our technology VAM is non-existent in Uganda. However, it doesn't mean that some Ugandans haven't, I would say, used our technology in other places in the world. And today we are receiving a lot of CVs from people, Ugandans, because of course this is one of the job Ugandans who have went abroad to develop their skills home. And this is something which is today really interesting to see that the oil and gas industry in Uganda will be able to attract not only, I would say, expats and people like this, but especially Ugandans who have developed their skills internationally and want to come back to live with their families and in their country. So that's, I would say, a point which is to be noted. Another point also is the expression of interest that we have put up recently also for the yard development. So here the tender is ongoing also. We had published an EOI, as Phil was mentioning a bit earlier, national database, registered Ugandan company, and these are, for instance, some of the key points where tomorrow, not in 6 months, tomorrow Ugandan companies are going to be benefiting, and that's what everybody was saying today. We are, Phil, myself, we are a tier 1, but it doesn't mean that if we are not working directly with some companies, they cannot benefit from us, because we are working also with tier 2, tier 3, then down the road, and plenty of other companies are going to be able to jump into here. Logistics is another one also. As I said, 30,000 tons of pipe to ship all the way to Tilenga. That's a lot of trucks coming from Mombasa, and there's not a single today logistics company which is able to take the whole piece of the cake. They will need to work together, all together, hand in hand, to have this done properly, so that the pipes are all brought in safely all the way to the site. Now just moving on to a little, to some pictures for it to be a bit more visual to everyone. Of course, it doesn't, I would say, look like much right now, all these sketches, but it gives you a slight idea of what it's going to be looking like. These are very recent pictures also from the Mota-Njil construction currently ongoing. And on the side, you can see plenty of racks. So this is where stacks of pipes are going to be put, stored, and afterwards prepared for the project. And then inspection areas also. Just moving on to the next one. This, for instance, is a yard which has been developed for ADNOC, a customer of ours, on the next slide, and gives a little idea of what these inspection areas are. These are our pipes. You can see in the background some racks. And this is just one inspection area. There's going to be 2 on the Tilenga site, where our people are going to be working to inspect, prepare all the pipes to be sent then to the rig very efficiently and in a very safe manner. Just to point out also on the QHSE aspect, you see these pipes? They are very heavy steel seamless pipes. We, in our job, we do this every day. We move pipes from one rack to another, to an inspection table, back onto a rack, back onto a truck, constantly. Meaning that we are moving heavy, dangerous materials. And this is today something which we are taking a lot of care in, is to make sure that all our QHSE, internal QHSE procedures are well implemented also within our company here in Uganda. We'll have a dedicated position as a QHSE manager, and one of his big jobs is going to be training the staff on the yard to have these pipe movements done as per our standard and golden rules. Moving on to the next slide also, you'll see now a bit more racks and what this, very soon we're going to be having a full CPF entirely developed with all the other yards for all the other contractors in the area to make this project move ahead and to have the first oil as soon as possible. And just as the key takeaways and as a conclusion, I just want to say that yes, Vallourec is indeed committed to support and to develop national content within our company and to involve local companies as much as we can. This is today one of our, it was our motto from the tender, even before being awarded, and today we have the chance to finally be able to implement this. So I think today I've had the opportunity to showcase a bit what my package is. I've had just a little slice of it, but you've been able to see that my little slice.
All right, thank you, Aaron.
Yes, indeed.
And do you have office space here already now?
Correct. I used to be based in Nairobi, and today this project being such a big project, a long project, we've decided to relocate our regional office now from Nairobi, also of that project in Pemba, in South Africa. So the idea now is to really have this center location in Uganda. So now Uganda Airlines is picking up. I hope they open up to more.
You received the sites 2 weeks ago.
Paula, Miguel Leon's our country manager. He's in our office here in Kampala. Here we'll have a larger office that's being worked on right now, jointly with. He's in the midst of starting our camp, and as you've heard, it's 4,000 people, and we're all anxious to, on COVID prevention and all that. The camp, everything that we're doing so far today, we're following the protocols. Certainly encouraging people and all the suppliers out there. It's a great opportunity, and we look forward to working with you as well.
All right. So thank you very much, Irwin, Barbara, and Phil, the Tilenga project. We will now take a very short break, and when we return, we'll be looking at the national.
BS happening now.